Have you ever wondered about the true purpose of assessment in education? It's an intriguing question, isn't it? We often take assessment for granted, viewing it as merely a necessity to measure learning. But what if we told you the story of assessment is much more complex and fascinating? At its core, assessment in education serves a dual purpose. On one hand, it's a tool for measuring a student's understanding of a subject. On the other, it's a means of guiding and enhancing the learning process. These two perspectives form the basis for two distinct types of assessments: assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Let's begin with assessment for learning. Imagine it as a compass, guiding students on their learning journey. It's an ongoing process, a continuous feedback loop where teachers assess students' understanding during the learning journey. This helps educators tailor instruction to meet individual needs and support students in their journey towards mastery of a subject. The goal isn't merely to evaluate, but to aid in the learning process, to illuminate the path forward. On the flip side, we have assessment of learning. Picture it as a milestone marker, a point of reflection on the journey. It's typically conducted at the end of a learning period, like a chapter, a unit, or a course. The goal here is to measure what the student has learned, to evaluate their understanding of the subject matter. It's a summative moment, a snapshot in time capturing what a student knows and can do. But here's the fascinating part. These two assessments aren't mutually exclusive. They coexist, intersect, and interweave, each playing a pivotal role in the grand tapestry of education. They're two sides of the same coin, each with its unique value and purpose. So as we unravel the paradox of assessment in education, remember that it's not just about measuring learning, but also about enhancing it. It's a dynamic, multifaceted process that serves a multitude of purposes. As we delve deeper into these two assessments, you might just find yourself rethinking your understanding of assessments in education. Let's first dive into the realm of assessment for learning. Assessment for learning, often called formative assessment, is a method that focuses deeply on the learning process itself. It's not a one-time measure of a student's knowledge, but rather an ongoing process that happens throughout a student's educational journey. It's like a compass, guiding both the teacher and the student in the right direction, and helping them navigate through the vast ocean of knowledge. This approach is not about grading or ranking students, but about understanding where they are in their learning journey and how they can improve. It's about identifying strengths, weaknesses, and gaps in understanding, then using this information to guide future teaching and learning. It's like a feedback loop, where the teacher gives feedback to the student, and the student then uses this feedback to improve. In assessment for learning, the emphasis is on growth and progress, rather than on reaching a specific benchmark at a specific time. It's about nurturing a love for learning and fostering a growth mindset in students. It encourages students to see mistakes not as failures, but as valuable learning opportunities. Moreover, assessment for learning also involves self-assessment and peer assessment. It empowers students to take ownership of their learning, to reflect on their own work, and to learn from their peers. It's about creating a learning community where everyone is a learner and everyone is a teacher. One of the greatest benefits of assessment for learning is that it makes learning visible. It brings to light the often hidden processes of learning and gives students and teachers a clearer picture of what is happening. It allows us to see learning not as a product, but as a dynamic, ongoing process. So, when we talk about assessment for learning, we are talking about an approach that puts learning at the center. It's about using assessment to inform teaching and learning, to guide students on their learning journey, and to help them become lifelong learners. Clearly, assessment for learning is a powerful tool in shaping a student's learning journey. Now let's shift gears and explore assessment of learning. Assessment of learning, also known as summative assessment, is like the final act in a play. It's the grand finale where we get to see the culmination of all the learning, effort, and progress that has been made throughout an instructional period. This type of assessment is typically carried out at the end of a unit, semester, or academic year. It's like a mirror that reflects the knowledge and skills students have acquired, providing a comprehensive picture of their learning journey. While assessment for learning is like a compass guiding the learning process, assessment of learning is the destination itself. It's the point on the map where we can say, "We've arrived." This is where we measure student learning in its entirety, evaluating the depth and breadth of their understanding and skills. One of the key characteristics of assessment of learning is its focus on grading and ranking. It's the moment when we assign scores or grades to signify a student's level of achievement. These grades often serve as indicators of a student's readiness to move on to more advanced content or to transition to the next level of education. However, it's important to remember that while grades can provide valuable feedback, they are not the sole indicator of a student's potential or ability. They are simply a snapshot in time, reflecting a student's performance at a particular moment. They do not define a student's worth or predict their future success. Assessment of learning also plays a crucial role in accountability. It helps ensure that schools, teachers, and students are meeting the standards set by educational authorities. It provides data that can be used to evaluate and improve educational programs and practices. In essence, assessment of learning is a powerful tool that helps us understand where our students stand in their learning journey. It provides a summative view of their achievements, illuminates the path they've traveled, and helps pave the way for their future learning adventures. Assessment of learning, while different, plays a crucial role in the educational system. One might wonder, are these assessments mutually exclusive? In reality, the answer is a resounding no. Assessment for learning and assessment of learning are not two sides of a coin that never meet. Rather, they are interwoven threads in the rich tapestry of education. They are two halves of a whole, each contributing to a more complete understanding of a student's learning journey. Think of assessment for learning as the compass, consistently guiding the student and teacher during the learning process. It provides real-time insights, helping to shape instruction and learning strategies. It's like a GPS, constantly recalibrating and redirecting based on the learner's current location in their knowledge journey. On the other hand, assessment of learning is the milestone marking the end of a learning journey. It's the final destination, providing a clear, comprehensive snapshot of what the student knows and can do at a specific point in time. It's the signpost that says, "You've arrived." But what happens when these two assessments intersect? Magic. When used together, they create a dynamic, responsive, and balanced assessment system. This system provides a continuous feedback loop where the insights from the assessment of learning can inform the next steps for assessment for learning and vice versa. For instance, a final exam result might highlight areas where a student struggled. This information can then be used to shape future instruction and learning activities, bringing us back to the realm of assessment for learning. Similarly, the ongoing insights from assessment for learning can help prepare students for the summative assessments, making the assessment of learning a less daunting endeavor. This interplay between the two assessments is not just beneficial, it's essential. It offers a more holistic, in-depth understanding of a student's learning, capturing not just the final outcome, but the entire journey. It combines the best of both worlds, enabling educators to guide and measure learning effectively. Indeed, these two assessments, while different, can harmoniously coexist to provide a holistic view of student learning. As we draw to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned. We started our journey by delving into the paradox of assessment, where we discovered the existence of two distinct approaches: assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Each approach plays a unique role in the educational landscape, yet they are interconnected in their mission to enhance student learning. Assessment for learning, as we've explored, is akin to a guiding light. It's an ongoing process that supports and informs both teachers and students in the learning journey. It's like a compass that helps educators tailor their instruction to meet individual student needs, and it provides students with valuable feedback, enabling them to understand their strengths and areas for improvement. As an integral part of the learning process, it fosters an environment of active engagement, encouraging students to take responsibility for their learning journey. On the other hand, assessment of learning serves as a yardstick, a tool for measuring students' knowledge and skills at a specific point in time. It's the report card, the final exam, the standardized test. It provides a snapshot of student achievement, offering insights into the effectiveness of instruction and serving as an accountability measure for schools. While these two approaches seem different, they are indeed two sides of the same coin. They both aim to enhance learning, but they do so from different angles. Assessment for learning is the proactive approach occurring during the learning process, while assessment of learning is the retrospective approach, taking place after learning has occurred. In a balanced assessment system, these two approaches work in harmony. They complement each other, providing a comprehensive view of student learning. The formative nature of assessment for learning guides the learning process, while the summative nature of assessment of learning validates the learning outcomes. Remember, the ultimate goal of any assessment should be to enhance student learning and success. With this in mind, we can appreciate the value of both assessment for learning and assessment of learning in our quest to foster an enriching and effective learning environment.